live streaming is exciting because anything can fucking happen. So what I'll do is talk the Wi-Fi into some form of stability, dance, then talk some more. How long does the Wi-Fi take to stabilize? I think I'll go for 1 minute or so, then I'll dance. The reason why is because people have such short attention spans that I have to get going ASAP. Okay, so I'm trying something new, which is to equally distribute the 3 tries of my new choreography evenly throughout the vlog. More importantly, I'm starting with dancing because I just want to try something new. The reason why I usually talk a while before dancing is because sometimes the Wi-Fi does take a while to stabilize, but whatever, I'll try something new, mostly because I think, at least with the way I tag my vlogs, I am promising some sort of BTS new choreography Dynamite by an amateur dancer, and at least I fulfilled the promise of my title early on. Now I'll talk about the fulfilled promise. So, I've mentioned several times before that the last couple of weeks I've participated in some interesting physical and mental challenges. We started a couple weeks ago with David Goggins' 4x4x48. David Goggins is a prominent member, ex-soldier, who has really evolved as a civilian to become an inspirational figure on many levels. He challenged us to run 4 miles every 4 hours over 48 hours total. I modified that challenge to dance 4 hours. 4 miles every 2.5 hours over 48 hours because I'm celebrating 1 year of dance. That is a bittersweet milestone because, as many of you know, I started dancing after the pandemic basically squeezed the life out of my adventure travel career. But I've mentioned before, and I think it's true, that this year has still been as fun as and productive as any. This year meaning 2020. This year meaning 2021. So what I did was pair up, level up David Goggins' challenge with my own mental challenge, which was to achieve the first edit of the first hour of my rockumentary. That I basically did concurrently in the same 48-hour period as David Goggins' physical challenge. So, then subsequent to that, one of our philanthropic billionaires, MZ from Japan, announced that he will be selecting 8 civilian crew members from whoever applies. So the last couple of weeks I've been rushing those deadlines, and I've just had a chance to breathe from all of that. I'm a potential candidate. What gives me the motherfucking right to think that I should be one? How arrogant must I be to apply? Yeah, I'm that motherfucking arrogant. There we go for you, okay? So, in any case, whatever happens, what I'm free to disclose is the fact that I've applied, that I'm a potential candidate. Everything else I'm going to have to keep secret for obvious reasons, and that's all I'll really discuss. But in any case, related to all of these projects is the fact that I'm celebrating my creativity. Whether there's an outside challenge, there's always been an inside challenge, and the inside challenge is basically having the confidence to execute, because too many people label too many people arrogant too easily. Now here's the thing, should I care what other people think? No, when it comes to something as free-flowing as art, I let that flow how it will. I mean, realistically, in most of my life I do that anyways, in all other facets, but in art in particular, the art will flow how it does. This week, me choreographing the BTS Dynamite was challenging additionally because of managing the dearMoon civilian crew project with choreographing. So, in the midst of all that, I sustained a pedestrian neck injury, which prevented me from practicing until 2 days ago. So that really mirrors what life is like to be a person. As much as you want everything to be perfect, sometimes you just have to go. And that's what life is. And if you miss the opportunity to just go, you will often fail. And I'd rather try than just fail outright. That's me. I prefer that. So, something that holds a lot of people back is fear of judgment, which I'm lucky I've been born without that. But apparently people fear public speaking more than dying. So that to me just is junk. That makes no sense. Here I am public speaking all the time in my vlogs, and pre-pandemic I would present to audiences live audiences of people all the time. And I never had that sense of fearing public speaking more than death, or fearing public speaking more than anything, really. In fact, I think I'd probably develop some sort of hobby for public speaking, but that's just me. Again, a lot of this is more just the way you handle life and how you deal with life than anything related to talent per se. For example, I've mentioned I've only been dancing for a year, but I started choreographing, which means creating my own dances from day one. I was learning and creating at the same time. Why would I do this? First, I knew I had the ability to. I just knew. That's from knowing yourself well and knowing your body well. Second, that makes learning fun. What makes learning fun is when, at least for me, you can immediately apply what you've learned to something new and unique. What's better than creating your own dance? So the loose title of the vlog from the last year has been Breaking Badass. I might experiment with new titles this upcoming year, who knows, but at the very least I will tag dearMoon because I want to, and that's it. Whether that'll help me, hinder me, who knows, but I'm gonna run this process like I run any process in my life. So in detail, what the dearMoon project is that Japanese billionaire MZ just invited 8 people to come along on his crew to the dearMoon and back. Now the moon and back is looping back to the dark side of the moon, 3 days there, 3 days back. The trip is relatively short, but I think the memories will be long-term for sure, and they'll definitely inspire art, both during and after. Yeah. But how that'll be, I'll leave that speculation to some time later, because I'll probably have to dance again in a little bit. I try a couple passes of my dances because I'm hoping at least each move will look good at least once if I give it 3 tries. If you've followed my hours of David Goggins live, you'll notice that I actually integrated the crip walk / shuffle dance into the dance this week. At first I thought I might be too tired of it, but I think it's because it's become muscle memory now that it was an easy move to pull in, especially when combining with waacking. I need something that comes automatically. The thing I've noticed about waacking, which is this style right here, is I've combined the 90-degree hands, the tutting, with the waacking, and I've also combined it with bottom intense heavy dancing as well. This is something that I've rarely seen done even by professional choreographers. Am I trying to hype myself up? Oh, who knows? I'm just explaining what I've observed. So maybe even as a dance amateur, I've created something new here. Who knows? I think part of the reason why, though, is that it's actually very difficult to coordinate your body to do all those things at once. Waacking itself is intensive. Shuffling itself is intensive. Combining the two is extra intensive. So I can understand why they might shy away from it. Or maybe it's because dance choreographers still have to choreograph really below their level in terms of execution, because they are teaching people with skills lesser than them how to dance. So that might explain some of it too. I wonder sometimes if choreographers were just free to choreograph however they wanted, only keeping in mind the limits of their own capacities, what would be the outcome? Who knows? In any case, I think I'm going to try again. Yes. Yes or what? The ambient noise will always be ambient. But sometimes I can wait for at least quieter pockets when humans are walking by. But of course, wildlife and birds, they're free to do whatever they want. Yeah, okay, let's try. Okay, so at least the rain cleared up a little bit. Filming in the morning was touch and go, so I decided to delay everything until later so that the patio would dry up a little bit. But I think it's been roughly the right consistency. The planks are a little damp and slippery, but they're manageable. In any case, I've worked in these extreme weather conditions for the entire year, and I just treat them as an extra spice of adventure because that's how life has been. It's always been like that. So you evolve or die. That's really it. As I'm waiting for the outcomes of dearMoon, I'm going to continue on my own creative projects that I've already had planned since the beginning of the year. I'm continuing on with my rockumentary, but I think I'm going to evolve it. Inspired by Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder, action, adventure, artiste director, released his Snyder Cut of Justice League, and though I'm yet to watch it, I appreciate his magnum opus 4-hour vision. I know that the director who ended up releasing, Joss Whedon, basically released something about 2 hours after Zack Snyder had a terrible tragedy happen in his family and had to step away from the Justice League project. So how are you going to represent a 4-hour vision in 2 hours? No fucking way. I know as an artist, I have difficulty sometimes cutting a word, a second, any minuscule part of my art. Can you imagine cutting it down to half? Well, obviously the visions were completely different from what I've heard of others reviewing Zack's work. the 4-hour version, the Justice League, we'll call it Justice League canon now, is the version. It's the only version. And it's a fully realized concept, fully realized artistic piece. And that's all I would ever want for any other fellow artist, regardless of whether you're into comic books or into Zack Snyder as a person or whatever. As an artist, I always respect and appreciate when other artists just have their chance to execute their vision. So for me, I'm going to take a Zack Snyder turn and decide that I'm going to just release the rockumentary in parts if I really need to, and then maybe come up with a 1-hour summary if need be. But this is my own project. The beauty is that without any commercial aspects to it, my project is completely my own. I've no reason to cater to an audience, to cater to anyone really, except myself, because this is my own artistic vision, my story, my adventure come to life. So why should I compromise? No way should I. Other people have to sometimes because they're working with commercial interests, and that's where there's always been the eternal argument about art versus commerce. To me, because I've removed the commercial element, I'm in complete control. So if I'm in complete control, I'm gonna go magnum opus, my way, and that's it. Okay? There's no thing to debate, to discuss, to negotiate. It's really me, myself, and I think I like creating art that way a lot of the times, because why do I have to integrate the two? I've decided to extract the two separately. Art's one thing, commerce is another, and art stands on its own for me. Creativity stands on its own for me. I can freely share it. Share it is different. Share it is different. Share it is, I share whatever my vision is, and if people decide that they're on board with it, they can support me commercially how they so choose. We have several options, but I'm catering to me as an artist, and that's always how it's going to be with me. So that's fine, because if you want to support an artist where you have direct influence on the art, I'm sure there are many other people that you can support where when you support them, you have a direct influence on how their art comes out. That's fine. You choose them. But I'm my own thing, I'm my own entity, so I'm comfortable running it that way. How much time do I have left? Okay, I still have a couple of minutes left. How am I going to finish it off? Do I have anything else to clarify before I call it a vlog? And a final pass? What is that? Okay. I think I've mostly achieved what I've wanted to with today's vlog. Maybe I'm going in a new direction, or maybe I'm just basically focusing the wide splaying identity of the last couple of years. Part of being wide this way is fun. Then I can go in any direction I want, and that's part of the freedom of being an artist, is being free to create. So, you know what? I'm just gonna let it be how it is, and the chips will fall where they may. In so far as that, I'll wrap up with my third pass around now. that's it. That's all she wrote for the rest of this week. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna take a bit of a break, but I'm still gonna think with that artistic mindset and how the dearMoon project inspires me, and how I'm just gonna carry that mindset on to complete my creative projects of 2021. Dance will be an integral part. What else? Whatever comes. Whatever comes. I'm a multidisciplinary artist, and I dabble in everything because creativity, as I've explained before, is like another entity or person that will come how it does. So the more tools that you have to express it, the better are the outcomes. You'll be that much closer to executing and communicating, even though you'll never be there 100%. The thing is another thing that comes through you, and your job as an artist is to try to express it as closely as possible, as authentically as possible, but knowing that current human communication is too limited to express everything that the art wants to. But you try, and you try again and again, and that's part of being an artist. Those kids yelling, at least they've continued to find joy in years that have been difficult. What else? Wildlife is also making its return. What I'm also excited for is when the seasons change and these cherry blossoms blossom in full. Right now, only a couple buds or two of pink are showing through the dull brown, but I think in a couple weeks that pink's gonna be in full bloom. In many ways, I think, at least in this area where I am, the blooms really rival those of Japan. When I traveled to Japan, I was at what should have been cherry blossom season, but because of the weather pattern of that particular year, 2014, the blooms were a little out of season by the time I arrived, but I still caught the tail end of some of them. They were a striking natural contrast to the many, many ancient temples of Japan.